Hello everyone. So today we will continue with the Unit 4 ICT in Statistics, and it is the learning objective 3, which is to know how to use database management software for statistical data. So we will briefly cover some of the concepts related to database management and some technical aspects related to the learning objectives. So some of the key aspects, key features in this session would be structure of databases, the database tools, the use of databases, and how to retrieve data using querying databases. So these aspects we will cover briefly. And for more detail, if you want to proceed on the technical side, there are many database tools such as you have Microsoft Access, you have MongoDB, you have SQL Server, and you have Oracle. So you can work on those databases to get more knowledge. So proceeding with the session. So the first one is explain using examples how to enter, edit, and maintain data in a database. So, when you are entering, editing, and maintaining data in a database, so the most fundamental aspects is the identification of the database which you are using, how it connects to your front-end application, and how the data will be structured in that database. So all these are fundamental aspects of database management. So in the context of UK Versity Online, where data integrity and accuracy are paramount, these tasks should be performed with great care. So we're just taking an example of UK Versity. So here we will explain each of these processes with examples and adhere to a formal academic tone. So the first thing is entering data. So entering data involves adding new records to the database. So it could be adding a new row. For example, if you are adding the data of a new student enrollment. So that is an example of entering data. So let us consider this with an example. So here we insert a new student with a unique student ID, first name, last name, email, and enrollment date into the students table. So we have created a table with the name of students where we enter the fields of unique student ID, first name, last name, email, and enrollment date. So then next thing is editing data. So editing data, it involves modifying existing records in the database. So continuing with the student records example. So how do we update or edit the data? So the query is update students. So students is the name of database, set email. So set is the command or the prompt which you are giving to the database, and you are updating the new email ID. Set email is equal to new email at email.com or wherever, whichever email you want to enter, and where student ID is equal to 101. So you are fetching the record by the student ID and you are updating the entire row, and you are updating the email for the respective student. So this query updates the email address of the student with student ID 101 to the new address. Then we have maintaining data. So maintaining data includes ensuring data consistency, accuracy, and dealing with data anomalies. So this involves regular database maintenance tasks, which may involve optimizing queries, managing indexes, and handling data backups to prevent data loss. So these are the different tasks that are performed in maintaining data. For example, to maintain data integrity, you might schedule automated backups of the database regularly, ensuring that in the case of system failure or data corruption, you can restore the data to the previous state. So normally a backup is taken every 24 hours for normal database, but if it is a mission critical database, a real-time backup is taken to the data center and the disaster recovery site. So for updating the records, you can use database management tools or scripts to schedule these backups and store them securely. So these are the basics of maintaining data in the database. So in summary, entering, editing, and maintaining data in a database is crucial for organizations like UK Versity Online Limited. So this process involves SQL queries or database management tools to add new data, modify existing data, and ensure data integrity through regular maintenance tasks like backups. So following best practices and ensuring data accuracy is essential to meet the organization's goals. So for any organization, it is important that data is the data backup is maintained, but the integrity of the data and to ensure that no data is lost or modified in any format is also important. So here we have demonstrated with a simplified example, and the real world scenarios may be very complex. For example, in a banking database. So if even a single record is changed, it can lead to huge implications. So those databases, the entire integrity should be maintained in these databases. And accordingly, companies spend a huge amount in managing the databases. So the next one is explain using examples how to retrieve data from a database to meet requirements. So in this, retrieving data from a database to meet specific requirements is a common task in database management. So it involves crafting queries that extract the desired information from the database. In the context of UK Versity Online Limited, where precision and accuracy are paramount, it is important to retrieve data efficiently. So now we will look into some of the steps of data retrieval from the database, so that, for example, if a student's certificate is to be printed, so in that case, the data is to be retrieved from the student, from the database, and to print the certificate. So the first step is basic data retrieval. So suppose UK Versity Online Limited wants to retrieve a list of all students' name and email addresses. So in SQL, a basic select statement can be used. For example, SQL copy, the SQL code is select first name, last name, and email from students. So first name, last name is the name of the student, and email is the email address of the students. And students is the name of the database or the table. So this query retrieves the first name, last name, and email address of all students from the students table. So this is the SQL code for retrieving the first name, last name, and email address of all the students. Filtering data. So often you need to retrieve data that meets specific criteria. So for example, UK Versity Online Limited might want to retrieve the names and email addresses of students who are enrolled in a particular course. For example, so here you retrieve the first name, last name, and email IDs. So first name, last name, and email is the data that you want to fetch. Then students is the database, and where is the filtering criteria, where course ID is equal to 1, 2, 3. So that is how a where clause is used to filter the results to only include students enrolled in the course with the course ID 1, 2, 3. So this is how you can extract specific data. So and another example is, suppose if you want to extract all the data in the database, all the data in the table. So you will the SQL code will be select star from students. So that SQL code will fetch the data of all the students from the students table. But you have to select specific data. So here you are selecting first name, comma last name, comma email from students, where students is the table where course ID is equal to 1, 2, 3. So This is the filtering criteria. Then aggregating data. To perform calculations on data such as finding the total number of enrolled students, you can use aggregate functions like count. For example, SQL copy code is select count of student ID as total enrolled students from students. So the count function, it selects the entire sum of how many students are enrolled and as enrolled students. So it classifies them under a new output table of total enrolled student. So this query calculates the total number of enrolled students in the students table. Sorting data. So you can also retrieve data in a specific order. For example, it could be ascending order, descending order, or number of courses of the students. So it could be any criteria where you can sort and extract the data. So for example, to get a list of students sorted alphabetically by last name, the SQL code is select first name, comma, last name, comma, email from students and order by last name ASC. So this is the SQL code. So this query retrieves the student names and email addresses ordered in ascending order of last name. So ASC stands for ascending order. So this is how you can sort the data to get a list of students sorted alphabetically by last name. Then joining tables. So this is again a special criteria for using the SQL database. So in cases where data is distributed across multiple tables, joining them is necessary. Suppose UK Versity Online wants to retrieve a list of students and the courses they are enrolled in. So example is the SQL copy code is select students, where students is the name of the table, first name, comma students, dot last name, comma courses. So then you have dot course name from students, inner join, enrollments on students, student ID is equal to enrollments, student ID inner join, courses on enrollment, courses ID is equal to courses dot course ID. So this query retrieves student names and the name of the courses they are enrolled in by joining the students, enrollments, and courses table. So here you can see there are three tables from which the data is joined and the data is fetched regarding the student's name and the names of courses they are enrolled in. So from the students table, you are using student first name, last name. From the enrollment, you are using student ID, and from the courses table, you are using the courses ID. So this is an example how you are using the joining tables. So in conclusion, data retrieval from a database involves crafting SQL queries that specify the data to be retrieved, filtered, sorted, and aggregated as needed. So in complex scenarios, joining tables may be necessary to meet specific requirements. So these examples demonstrate fundamental SQL operations for data retrieval in a formal and academic context. So data retrieval, it is generally need basis, but in some cases it could be regulatory basis also, where for example the banking, if the regulator has asked the banking organization to fetch the data of the non-performing loans, or to what extent they are leveraged. So in that case they will also provide data, but that is also need basis. So the data can be fetched in a like filtered way, in a sorted way. So there are different ways of fetching the data. So it again depends on the need. It could be a simple query, or it could be a complex query. So the third one is describe how database tools can be used to produce output to meet requirements. So database tools are essential for producing output that meets specific requirements. So these tools, they help in retrieving, formatting, and presenting data in a way that is useful for decision making and reporting. So in this, so the first one we look into is the query and reporting tools. So there are many tools which are used. So the basically a business manager, he does not go every time to the database to fetch the data. So he use the front end tools wherein he can get the desired results. So the first one is database tools such as SQL-based query and reporting tools. So for example, Microsoft SQL Server reporting services, Tableau or Crystal reports, it allows users to create complex queries and generate reports. So basically the reports are front-end reports which provides a user-friendly interface for designing queries and specifying report formats. So then we have visualization tools. So tools like Tableau and Power BI enable the creation of interactive and visually appearing dashboards and charts from database data. So this is particularly useful for presenting data trends and patterns. So then we have exporting data to common formats. So database tools often allow data to be exported into common formats such as Excel, comma separated values or PDF. So for example, if you're downloading a banking statement, so you may want it in Excel format so that you can see, you can add up like how much you have spent on certain items, or it could be CSV format where you're fetching data from a database and then you want to upload into some other format, or PDF for a general visualization purposes. So this makes it easy to share data with stakeholders who may not have direct access to the database. Then you have scheduled reports. So database tools can be configured to generate and send reports automatically on a scheduled basis. So this ensures that stakeholders receive up-to-date information without manual intervention. Then we have custom scripting. So for highly specialized or unique reporting requirements, custom scripting using languages like Python or R can be integrated with database tools to generate tailored reports and perform complex data transformations. So this is the purpose that is served in custom scripting. Then data export for analysis. So database tools can export data in a format suitable for further analysis using specialized data analysis tools like SPSS, SAS, or R. So this is particularly useful for conducting in-depth statistical analysis. For example, if in your a part of assignment you are doing statistical tests of multiple regression and correlation. So you can use tools like SPSS or SAS or R. So for conducting in-depth statistical analysis. Then you have security and access control. So database tools also play a critical role in ensuring that data output adheres to security and access control policies. So they allow administrators to define who can access and generate specific reports to maintain data privacy and integrity. So that is the purpose for security and access control of data. So in summary, database tools serve as versatile instruments for producing output that meets various requirements within an organization. So I've just given you an example of UK Versity. So these tools, they facilitate data retrieval and visualization, reporting and distribution while adhering to security and access control measures. So the choice of tools depends on the specific needs of the organization and the complexity of data analysis and reporting tasks. So, so it just shows like how versatile you can be with the different databases and how you can use the database tools to present the front-end visualization. So that is all for today. In case if you have any questions, you can let me know.
That's great, Sanjay. Thank you.
Thank you.